In the last homework assignment for last week, you were asked to use Desmos on this worksheet and then finally sort at the end. Like, what groups could you put these in? So I'd like you to look at the shape or the end behavior of each of these graphs. As you look at the sheet, okay, in the long term, it looks like we have a graph that makes a U shape and a graph that kind of makes, I like to call it a chair, kind of this, it kind of almost looks like a chair. This has a bumpy U. This kind of looks like a chair. So I'm going to sort these, and that's what I'd like you to do, is kind of look at these sorted in just these two groups. And is there something in particular about the polynomial that would give us these shapes? So these all look like a U-type shape, and these are all that kind of S or chair-shaped shape at the end behavior. So if we take a look at the sorting here and looking at the degree, do you see a relationship at all with the degree of the polynomial and the shape of the graph? So remember, the degree is the largest exponent. Sometimes they're not in order, so you kind of have to search for them. But if you look, is there a relationship between what I've colored in yellow and the shape of the graph? So looking at this first set, I see all these U-shaped graphs. Some are upside down, some are right side up, some are bumpy, but in the end they're either going both up or both down. They kind of have that roller coaster position, arms both in the air, both up or both down. And I notice also something about what I've shaded or colored, highlighted in yellow. I've got a 6, a 4, and a 2. And if I look and think about 2, 4, 6, those seem to be even numbers. Now again, it's not telling me what's happening in between these ends, just that both ends either go up or down. I also notice that the U, or the ends that go down, have that negative sign in front, just like we did when we looked at quadratics. We noticed that that negative tipped things over. Looking at the second set, so if I was to sort these just in two sets, looking at the second set, these have one end going up and one end going down. I look at their degree, 5 and 3. Those are odd numbers. So odd numbers have this S-shaped curve, and even numbers have a U shape. Let's take a look at the negative. The negative is in graph G. It's reciprocated or flipped the original S-shaped graph. So what we're going to be doing here in the next week is looking at these graphs, being able to tell some things without a graphing utility, meaning don't use Desmos, don't put it in a calculator, but by looking at some ideas and things that are happening, what can we tell? We can see a degree of 5. That tells me I have a chair shape. This is a bumpy chair. We're going to learn about the bumps. The leading coefficient is 1. Didn't tell me a whole lot, but this leading coefficient of -3 said it would be tipped over. The y-intercept, we've been able to find every time looking at the quadratic, so it's the same idea on a polynomial. So that's going to be coming your way. Is the next assignment, assignment 1, is to take graphs that are similar, just looking just like this, without using a graphing utility. Tell me which directions the ends are going. You really can't sketch them because you don't know the inside what's going on, but you can minimally tell me if the ends are going opposite directions, if the ends are going the same direction, or if the ends are going same direction and flipped over. So you should be able to identify that just by looking at the degree.